Today, we are embarking on the wild world of quackery. More specifically, snake oil sales and patent medicines, right, Liz?
Yeah.
We're not sure what to expect. We're here at the Warwick County Courthouse. It actually seems a lot bigger once you get inside. It's very reminiscent of Pawnee paintings. Oh my goodness.
A little bit. I don't know about that.
That's pretty cool. They have a cash box? No way.
See this lamp? Actually, that lamp too is so cool. Here's some similar stuff.
Here's the old side. Settlement to Revolution. That's pretty cool. Cannonball, old sword hilt.
Ooh, look at this. Is this a saddle?
Some old tobacco. Agricultural exhibit. Let's see if we can go find this place. What? There's a whole little nook over there I didn't even see.
We should go over there in a minute.
We'll have to come back. Wow, it sounds like there's a lot of people here. Oh, it's pretty full.
Maybe there's other, that's why this is really so low. You see?
You're the youngest.
There really wasn't much anything for an intro. You guys have seen me before, so here I am. Mary asked me to come talk to you guys about patent medicines. We have a number of these on exhibit at the Wight County Museum, and they are kind of sketchy. So I thought we'd talk about some of these today. We've got some imagery. I am going to get to those patent medicines. As the old joke goes, I'm going to take you around Mordor, I'm going to bring you right back here to the Shire, and then we will get through those patent medicines. So, that question right there, are these things medicine and are they quackery? Hard to say, but I just love this image of this duck. My parents had a friend who was a pharmacist, and I'm not kidding you, he looked exactly like this. I love that guy. But as a reminder, I'm from the Wight County Museum over in Smithfield, and we are just right across the water there, so it doesn't take you guys long at all to come on over for a visit. And we are home to the world's oldest peanut. There it is, 1890. We are home to the world's oldest ham. Surely you know the ham. Sometimes he gets some coverage. We have a birthday party for that ham every year. If you're sad and lonely, you can watch him on the ham cam and see what he's doing. I do like to tell visitors when they come in, don't pick your nose or talk badly about your mother-in-law because you might be hurt. But nonetheless, there is our ham, certified by Ripley's, and the ham's a good time. So now let's go into some weird discussions of medicine and treatment throughout the years. Do you have the ague? That's malaria. And so if you've got the ague, you should take yourself a little spider that's alive, roll him up in a cobweb, put him in some butter, and then eat him. And then you won't have the malaria anymore, right? And then of course I had to mention lobotomy. It was actually introduced by a neurosurgeon in 1949. He actually won the Nobel Prize. And then things got a little sketchy after that. This is Walter Freeman here. He had his lobotomobile, kind of like the Wienermobile that he drove around, and he could give you a lobotomy if you need it. And so, you know, you're just basically kind of severing that prefrontal cortex that went in through the eyeball. And a lot of times, you know, well, for some folks, it was, you know, mental illness, if you needed a personality change, that kind of thing. For some folks, it was effective. For the bulk of them, it was not. But they figured out when psychotropic drugs came along, hey, we don't need to do this anymore. But it got a little sketchy, a little scary. A lot of patients were not cured. But Rosemary Kennedy, of course, she had the lobotomy. Yeah. So patent medicine, the term itself really, you know, these products were coming to us in the 18th and 19th century, and they were, you know, colorfully named, they had colorful claims, and they were supposed to be registered with the Patent and Trademark Office in order for people to hawk their wares. And for the most part, they weren't. So these were just things put into bottles with some crazy labels, and, you know, folks were, you know, making some money off of them. In the name of health. And a lot of times, of course, they had some yucky stuff in them: opium, morphine, alcohol, strychnine. I got one of those up there. And they were not prescribed by physicians. They were prescribed by someone who made this wonderful claim to you. And who would make those claims? Probably one of those fellas right there. Modern advertising was born during this period, so, you know, lots of almanacs and newspapers, and so a lot of times in the back you would see these ads for these products that would help you to, you know, cure everything. But of course, if the traveling medicine man came to your town, you know, he might come along with some jugglers, you know, maybe some animals, some music, some comedy, to be able to kind of make, you know, a little platform for the selling of his products to make it a little bit more exciting. So, what are some of these medicines that I have brought here with me today that hopefully you do not have in your cabinet? Well, we actually have snake oil in our collection, which is actually, I think, one of my favorite products. Not for use, of course, but it does, you will note, I put up some of the ingredients here, it contains no snake. There's no snake. But you've got your beef fat in there, you've got your mineral oil, and you've got your red pepper, your capsaicin. And so what does that do? That's gonna, if you know, you're drinking it, it's gonna make it, you know, taste really, it's gonna make it taste like medicine. It's gonna give you that punch. And, but it's also got turpentine in it. So yeah, that's not so good. So here is some King's Discovery. And this was brought to us, right, in 1869, and it was used to treat TB. But hey, look at that first ingredient, it's opium. Got some chloroform in there, got some ipecac, if you're feeling like you need to throw up, oil of pine tar, but at least there's wild cherry in there. Maybe that will make it taste not so awful, and traces of, you know, capsaicin, so that spicy pepper again. Here we have some McElderry's Cardouille, which is kind of funny and strange to say, but it was marketed to women. The name comes from a type of thistle. The product does contain thistle, but for all those feminine complaints in the 1920s, you could pick up this. Only 19% alcohol. Only. We have some favorite prescription of Dr. Pierce from 1859, again for female complaints, but it's got the valerian and the opium in there. Yeah, that'll get rid of the complaints, right? Here we have a product with some arsenic in it. This is actually not one of ours, but I just wanted to mention the fact that, you know, arsenic was one of the oldest medicines that dates back to ancient times. But of course, you know, very unpleasant for folks. But there were all kinds of ways to use arsenic, you know, tablets and tinctures and balms and that kind of thing. So, but they were using this to treat usually syphilis. No. If you've been up to the Valentine in Richmond, meat juice was a thing. Does anybody know the story of meat juice? Yeah. So there was a doctor, and his wife was ill, so he basically got some meat and kind of squished out what he thought were all the nutrients, bottled it into, you know, this meat juice, and then it made her well. And then he began to market it. So it actually became really one of the most popular patent meds, usually at the end of the 1800s. So there was meat juice everywhere. To me, it kind of sounds like, you know, stock or, you know, broth. But nonetheless, it was a big deal. This has also been 3D scanned, so if you head on over to Sketchfab and you're like, hey, I'd like to see what that meat juice bottle looks like, if you don't happen to have a bottle of meat juice at home, then you can go to Sketchfab and see what that looks like. All right, and wanted to mention this one. This tonic was invented in 1863. It was advertised as a wine, as a general cure-all product for anything that ailed you, and it was endorsed by a lot of folks, including Thomas Edison. But the reason for its success, it had cocaine in it. And so it was definitely a pick-me-up, and of course we all know the story of, Coca-Cola and what was in that originally. So, lots of cocaine. But that kind of kicked off the invention of Coke. And so there was a kind of the inspiration in the beginning. So back to those traveling medicine men. They were quacks, right? And that word has an interesting derivation. Essentially means the hawker of salves, because they were. And in the Middle Ages, the word meant to shout. So quacksalvers sold their wares in the market with their little loud shouting voice. So another pharmacy in Smithfield, and we do have a number of their products in our collection. Actually, tangent number 4, Little's, somebody else owns the building now. They were doing a little clean out, and they brought us some things. And they said, we've got some stuff, we've got some old advertisements and bottles that we found in a wall. Do you want it? And we said, well, of course we want it. So the curator went down to go get the stuff out of the wall, put it in a box, and he pulls out this dead rat. He's like, well, do you want the mummified rat? And she said, no, we do not want the mummified rat. You gotta have standards when you're in the museum, right? But coming back to today and things that we think work, but then maybe they don't. You may have seen that just came out in the news last week. Now the FDA says decongestant in cold medicines doesn't work at all. So, So maybe Sudafed and NyQuil are now gonna end up on the patent medicine table. So there you go. Thanks so much for coming, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Here's the section we missed before. It's like in the dark and behind glass. I'm not sure what's going on here. Some old dollar bill.
Oh, glass.
It's a little Civil War section. They kind of need to put a little light back here, don't they?
Maybe no one comes over here.
Well, they wouldn't. Since it's...
So they made it. This bag's kind of cute.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
So I'm pretty sure I was wrong earlier. This looks like the old building. Or it could be this one. Who knows? That's definitely the newer building.
Still lives there.
Hey. Not creepy at all. This building actually looks a lot cooler than I thought. I don't ever drive down this road. I always go around it on the other side. I didn't realize how it looked over here. With all these columns and stuff.